The Royal Abbey of Fontevraud is 9 centuries old. That's a big part of our country's history. Everything starts with Robert d'Abricel. He had a vision of getting both men and women involved.
We're in Saumur in the Loire Valley. The vines are just above our head, 10-12 meters up. We're right underneath them.
With the holster, I had a simple idea at the beginning. I wanted one single piece of leather to hold the bottle, and the second step was to tie a knot to attach it to the bike.
In the Saumur, wine and the arts blend well with beauty, both natural and man-made. Here, exceptional vineyards sit among architectural treasures, such as the Abbey of Fontevraud. Founded in 1101, it's the largest abbey in Europe. It's now a hotel whose grounds extend over 14 hectares.
Exactly 9 centuries ago, Robert d'Abricel chose to launch his crazy project here in Fontevraud. And his idea, which would have been considered revolutionary at the time, was to give the leadership of this order to a woman. And this lasted until the Revolution.
The doctrine of Robert d'Abricel met with great success, and the Fontevrist order spread over a vast European territory.
The Royal Abbey of Fontevraud is intimately linked to the cultural history of Europe. The Fontevrist order is present in Spain and in the United Kingdom. The abbesses succeeding Robert d'Abricel wanted to build a dialogue between men and women that was not merely limited to the French territory, but was universal. I think it's a great idea.
Directly linked to the Plantagenet dynasty, the Abbey of Fontevraud was the theatre of rapprochement between the courts of France and England.
What is incredible is that we have the beginning of the royal necropolis, a cemetery that is not just for the Plantagenets, but for the British too. The presence of Henri, Aliénor, Isabelle d'Angoulême, and Richard the Lionheart is probably the best way of responding to those who would try to pit France against the United Kingdom. And it shows us that the book that Aliénor is holding, representing a new link between culture and education.
With the French Revolution at the end of the 18th century, the Order of Fontevraud collapsed, and in 1804 Napoleon Bonaparte altered the abbey's destiny.
Bonaparte had this surprising idea of making it one of the largest prisons in the country. And we have some rather amazing things like the transformation of the abbey with 3 levels that were built so that the prisoners could be welcomed. And then there was also the construction of the cells.
As can be seen in the Abbey of Fontevraud and the surrounding villages and castles, tufa stone is the very architectural identity of the Saumur region. The limestone shelters its great wines.
The tufa stone adds a particular trait. It brings a kind of minerality to the wines. Above this rock there's 30 to 40 centimeters of soil. The vine's roots spread throughout and along the stone structure above. But as soon as the roots find a breach in the heart of the rock, it penetrates it, and that's where the stone becomes a part of the terroir.
The Chenin grape can also be found here, which gives rise to a multitude of wines with different characteristics: fine bubbles, sweet or dry.
The ideal accompaniment to this type of wine is obviously foie gras, and then old blue cheeses, for example. The advantage of our terroir here in the Saumurois is that we have sweet wines with a nice acidity, and as a result they aren't heavy. They're very round, very silky and pleasant to the palate.
Known to house the famous squires of the Cadre Noir or Black Frame, Saumur has a great tradition of saddlery. But Denis Chaperon works leather in an original way to highlight the other symbol of Saumur.
The original idea and the constraint that I set myself was to be able to hang a bottle on a bicycle using only one piece of leather. It had to be less than a meter long without any other objects, seams or rivets.
Necessity being the mother of invention, Denis Chaperon has his own way of reinventing ancient trades.
I'm not a leather worker. I don't have the know-how. I don't know how to do the seams. These are things I'm starting to learn, but I don't have real training. I work, let's say, as a kind of novice. That's what allows me to have new ideas.
Saumur's heritage isn't just intimately linked to its history, to that of its castles, villages and abbeys, but also to the Loire region and its vineyards.
Wine, like this place, is part of a heritage. The heritage is in the landscape that vines have shaped. All the regions where there are vines are beautiful, whatever the season.
Heritage is a given. It's not a narrow concept. It is also the ability to bring art into the world of the living and to bring out the best in nature.